Hi everyone. So, you know how sometimes you think about a game and you instantly think about a person? Today I bring you the person who I instantly connect to Days Gone. He's Kevin, also known as Viking Dad, and is really connected to Days Gone as someone that is really present in the community, is also really present in the virtual photography community, and is a really nice guy. So, if you want to know more about him, stay and listen to our chat right after the intro. Okay, uh, let's just get started. So from now
All
on, it's basically the show. Thank you so much for being here. My first question to you, Kevin, is Viking Dad. Why Viking Dad?
It's pretty simple. I like the history of Vikings. I like the Viking Age. I got into it after I started watching the Vikings History Channel show, and from there I just started doing my own personal research and just I was really intrigued by the history of it, and started to learn like what the myths were, what reality was, the historical references, stuff like that. And then Dad, just because I'm a dad, and that's about it. I've been actually wanting to change my name now because, well, I don't want to be a brand of sort, but like it's pretty much a Days Gone page at this point. But then everyone knows me by Viking Dad, so we'll probably just keep it.
Yeah, I wouldn't advise you to change it. It's pretty
Yeah,
iconic at the moment.
right.
So something. So you like Vikings, but you're mostly about Days Gone, and we will talk about that in a minute. But why
Of
not
course.
games like God of War or Hellblade that deal with the Viking mythology?
Oh, I actually love those games. God of War, I played on launch night. God of War was my favorite game until Days Gone. God of War, it's a masterpiece, man. It's a flawless game. I loved it. That's actually one of the few games I've played multiple times. I think I played like two or three, right in succession too. And then you get in that video game drought after a game like that, and I couldn't find a game for months afterwards. Um, but Hellblade, I loved Hellblade. I actually got the platinum in God of War and Hellblade. Um, I'm excited for the new Hellblade. It's on the Xbox. I don't have an Xbox, but that might make me get an Xbox.
That's the game that will make me buy an Xbox Series X probably. It's
Yeah,
yeah. The first one was really cool. And that
like
actually touches the next question, that is the previous games. So before Days Gone, you were kind of not in the social media circle, right? If I remember correctly, we talked about it once, and you said that you had this account but you didn't use it.
mhm.
What sort of experience in gaming did you have before Days Gone?
I've been playing. So going throughout middle school, high school, I was pretty much a sports gamer. I played MLB The Show, Madden. I played a lot of Madden. Never really did too much of the story-driven games. And
That's a
then
change
about
right there, big change.
yeah, it's quite the change. In about 2010, 2011, whenever Batman Arkham Asylum, Arkham City was out, I started there. And that's kind of what got me into the story, action, adventure games. I fell in love with the Batman Arkham trilogy. Arkham Knight was the reason why I bought the PS4. I got the bundle with it. And then from there, I just
Thank
started.
thank God you didn't buy a PC for the PC version of that game.
Yeah, yeah, I heard that was rough. But from there, I just started branching out. And then that's when I dove into Assassin's Creed franchise, Uncharted. Uh, I played The Last of Us remastered. I actually didn't play The Last of Us when it was on the PS3, so I played on the remastered version. But then from there, that's where I really became like a gamer, and yeah.
Funny, I saw this podcast one recently that said that most people that focused on sports game and car games and things like that actually jumped to Xbox because Halo and the look of Master Chief is very sports like.
Right.
So it's
Yeah.
really funny to hear that someone that enjoyed those types of games jumped to PS4 and from
Yeah.
battle.
I think a big catalyst in this was my wife. I was raised was just sports. That's all I did. I played baseball all my life. I played up through college. I played football, basketball, track, you name it. So sports were my life. And I met my wife, and she's a nerd. She loves Star Wars. She loves Batman. She got me introduced to that side of the world, and I didn't want to look back, man. I'm like, I
It's
love being a
it's a
nerd,
pretty good side to be on.
right?
Yeah. So, Days Gone. You get the PS4, you play all those games, and then you hear about Days Gone. What did you have an interest in Days Gone before? It was something that you weren't expecting. Tell me about it.
I did. I did have an interest in it. Actually, during Days Gone week, when I wrote that long essay about why Days Gone means so much to me, it was in that, and I said where I remember the E3 demo. Right away, I was intrigued because I'm a big Walking Dead fan. You know, the whole old Sawmill horde was. I'm like, okay, I like this, and I followed it loosely for a while. Like I said, like you said previously, I don't think I actually ever uh, got to your question, but with Twitter, so I didn't have a social media presence. I didn't go on social media. I had the account, but it was more of just following news, following sports news, following some PlayStation news. Really, not following any friends or friends following me. I was just kind of there. Um, so that's how I would follow Days Gone a little bit. I didn't know any of the devs or anything. And then once they pushed back the release date, and it was in the April 2019, I started to write it off because my wife was going to have her third child right at that time. So I'm like, okay, well, there's no way I'm going to be able to play this game now. So unfortunately for her, she was 8 days late. So I'm like, okay, so we had an appointment to go to the hospital and everything. So the weekend before, I'm like, you know what? Let me go pick up Days Gone. Let's waste a little bit of time this weekend. I'll play it. So picked it up, played a few hours, was really loving it, and then of course had to stop for a few weeks. So got back into it when my son would be up at like 3 o'clock in the morning. So I was like his bed. He just laid on my chest every night. So as he's laying on me, I would all walk him around. He falls asleep, and then he fell asleep on me for like 2.5 hours every night. So I can't fall asleep, obviously. And I'm like, well, let's boot up Days Gone. So I was sat in the chair. He was on my chest, and I had my headphones on so he couldn't hear anything. And I was just playing away while he was on me every night. And it was like almost a routine. Every night in the middle of the night, about 2 hours, I would jump on and play. And so besides the personal connection of it, of being, having my bonding time with my son, I'm playing Days Gone, and everything just kind of fell together there.
So you are changing the name of your son to Deacon, right?
Yes.
Okay. Just making sure of it. Did
My
you
wife said no.
did you jump right away to the photo mode, or did you play it and had no idea what a photo mode even was before that?
Um, I didn't jump into photo mode right away. I've known of photo mode from games that I've played previously, like Arkham Knight, Horizon Zero Dawn, but I never dove into those. It was more of I would jump in and literally just not even like move the camera, just take the screenshot as more of a memory of me. Like, oh, I was here in the game. Nothing fancy, nothing advanced. So my first screenshots for Days Gone were, oh man, I think it was a couple weeks after it released, and it was just basic screenshots. I actually have it on my blog somewhere, and you can tell like I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know those settings. I had no clue. I saw the bloom, the gamma. I'm like, I don't know what these are, so I'm just gonna take a regular screenshot. And yeah,
I was doing photography, virtual photography, for about 6 months before say Days Gone came out, and I didn't know what Bloom was. I didn't know what most of those
right.
were. Yeah, it's a really impressive photo mode. Really, really. If you want to go into the all the capabilities of that photo mode, you really have to understand each setting, and it's amazing. But yeah, you were saying. Sorry, I interrupted you.
Oh, no problem. Actually, the fourth focus, he put out a Days Gone photo review right around that time, and that helped me a lot because I read that extensively. I'm like, okay, I need to figure out what these settings are. So when I first shared my first couple screenshots, they were like, like I said, basic screenshots. But I noticed like Jeff Ross liked them. A couple other people from Bend Studio liked them. And of course, at that time, I didn't know any of the devs from Bend. I literally just logged on to Twitter. All I wanted to do was share, like, hey, I'm enjoying Days Gone. Like, I have no interaction, so I figured I wouldn't even get a single like. It was more of just me expressing my feelings, and then he liked it. So I'm like, okay, so I'll post a couple more, as the weeks go by. Not anything like I do now, where I post a daily photo or a couple daily sets. It was more like photos here and there, maybe once or twice a week. But every time I did it, I kept noticing devs from, Ben Studio liking it and stuff. And then I started seeing people doing this virtual photography thing all the time. I'm like, so what is this? So actually, you were one of the first ones I saw. And I'm like, and I started seeing the screenshots you were doing. I'm like, oh wow, so okay. So and then from you and others, I started branching out, and then I started seeing communities like Gamergram and other virtual photographers, and then I started noticing. I'm like, oh, this is a thing. So and then I kept watching everybody, trying to get inspiration, trying to get tips. I was asking people in the beginning. So I didn't even know how to do a vertical photo. Actually, I think I commented on you one time.
That's sorry. That's something that I get a lot. How do I do vertical photos? And at the time, I only discovered because I asked Luis Leo, uh, and that's how I found out. So no one knows how to take verticals at the beginning.
Right.
It's pretty impressive.
So and then I was asking tips and stuff, and another one was Musa Warrior on Twitter. He was one I was asking a lot of questions to, and I was just trying to pick up tips and trying to see what other people were doing. And then, like I said, I read that photo mode review by Fourth Focus, and then really kind of there, I just kept trying to improve, and then I started falling in love with the photo mode, and then I didn't look back.
It's a pretty awesome feeling when you discover. I comment this once, and I think it's really really true. Once you discovered one or two, it opens the whole floodgates for you start seeing us everywhere. Like you don't get one virtual photographer or two virtual photographers. We are everywhere, and we start flooding your timeline. It's impressive.
Right.
Moving a little bit away from Days Gone, I noticed that you sometimes share photos from other games. Like recently, you shared some from the original Last of Us, and you got a ton of attention. Really spoilery comments in there. Then the Last of Us 2, you also got a lot of attention, and now Ghost of Tsushima, again a lot of attention. So some people might look at you and oh, he only knows how to do Days Gone photography, but it's a choice. You are really talented with other games. So is it like what you said in the beginning, a brand that you are trying to keep on, like only connected to Days Gone, and sometimes I do photography on other games, or is it just that the other games don't interest you that much?